What's going on, guys? Reticle here. Today is the first episode of the how-to series. Today's video will be how to be the best roamer in Rainbow Six Siege. Alright, let's get straight into it. I put all of the defensive operators into each of their categories for roaming. Best, which is obviously just the best roamers for multiple reasons. The which is you can do it, but the best people are better. The just don't, which is just don't roam with them. The your dead mate is just don't. Your anchor, if you go out, you're 3 armor and you're just gonna die. And then obviously our Lord and Savior Tachenko, which is good for every situation, obviously. Alright, so let's get straight into it. The best operators to do is Pulse, Jaeger, Vigil, Ela, and Cavi. The reason Bandit is in the category and not the best is because he's kind of an anchor. He's supposed to be bandit juggling in room unless he physically can't for whatever reason. But your bandit should most likely be juggling on the wall, which is trying to deny thermite and just wasting the enemy's time and gadgets. You can waste several, maybe even all of Thatcher's grenades and maybe even all of the exothermic charges, which is Thermite's gadget, by just simply placing down your bandits on the wall rapidly. So that's why he's in the category, because he should probably be in room and not roaming. Alright, so let's get into the best. Pulse, you can use his heartbeat sensor and get locations of the enemy and just overall intel for your team and yourself. You can throw C4s onto the ceiling of whatever room you're in and blow your enemies up through the floor. You can blow them up through the wall. You can throw C4 through hatches, throw them out windows. This Pulse is an overall good operator to play either aggressively or very passively. Jaeger. His gun is amazing. Probably like top 3 in the game. Is like my third favorite gun in the game. His gun's insane. That's why he's a good roamer. His overall kit, nothing really fits him for roaming. Most of his stuff should go in the room. His ADSs, they destroy grenades, as everybody probably knows. But that's Jaeger. His gun pretty much just makes him a roamer and his 3-speed. And he's not even really a 3-speed. He's so fast, he's like a 4-speed. You got Vigil, which you can't see him on a drone. You can see static. Overall, people think, oh, he's not a good roamer. Vigil's an insane roamer. You can waste the enemy's time by making them think you're above or below you, or even on the same floor. You can play mind games with Vigil. You can make them think that you're anywhere, because the little static that pops up on drones can go anywhere. It goes through floors, walls, everything. So you can be on the 3rd floor, but they think you're on the 2nd floor. So you can pretty much just mind game with them. Oh yeah, and did I mention he has 2 insane guns? So overall, that's his kit. He has insane guns. Um, alright, the next would be Ela. Her gun is also pretty good, but recently it got nerfed. But her gadgets most likely should go in room. You can her gadgets, you can place them anywhere, and they pretty much just concuss and disorient the enemies. They make them slower, they turn slower, they can't really see very well. It's like an echo drone kind of, as everybody probably knows. But you can be greedy and use them all for your roam and be a very aggressive and or passive roamer with Ela. We'll get into later what aggressive and passive means, which is like the key to roaming. Um, then you got Caveira. Caveira, as everybody knows, is, in my opinion, one of the most useless operators in the game, but she's only good for roaming, so she's on the best roaming list. Her gadget pretty much just makes it to where you can interrogate once the enemy is in the down but not out stage. You can find out where all of the enemies on the other team is and highlighted for about 5 to 8 seconds. Um, but it's very high risk, high reward situation, as most people would say. But I feel like she's just overall not very good. Like I could consider just not putting her on the list. Like she's just useless. She's not very good at all. I wouldn't recommend playing her, but she has to go there. Alright, and now what you've all been waiting for. Before I finish talking about the rest of the operators, since they're not the best roamers, I'm going to talk about how to roam first. Alright, so when you're initiating your roam at the beginning of the round, you want to first set up everything in room that you can set up if you have stuff to set up in room. Reinforcements, barbed wire, whatever you got. If it can go in room, at least try to help your teammates out. Alright, then you want to think, are you going to be a passive roamer or an aggressive roamer? This means, are you going to always be attacking the enemy team and going for 2 or 3 kills? Or are you going to do the better option, which is going to help your team out more? And I would definitely recommend this option, which is the passive roamer. The passive roamer sits in a spot and most likely lets the team know, the enemies know, that he's there. Well, he's going to let them drone him out. He's going to let them push for him. He's going to let them use all of their gadgets, their drones, their time, most importantly, their time, to go after this one dude on the opposite side of the map from the room. This is the key to destroying any team that will be going. Passive roaming is the best kind of roaming in most situations. Then you got your third options, what I didn't even think about, which is the roamer that simply just flanks with a minute left. I would put this as the second best option. You sit in a spot and you just don't let them sit there. You sit under a desk like your school always lets you practice for red code. I mean, you literally just sit underneath of something to where they can't they will never drone you there. It's the stupidest spot you've ever sat in your entire life. Like, you're contemplating life while sitting there because it's so boring. But most likely it'll work unless they have a jackal, then you're screwed. Then once they have a jackal, if they do, you turn into a passive roamer and you let them just come for you. You let them throw themselves at you. You get a couple picks if you can, which is just kills. You just waste their time. But if they don't have a jackal and they don't drone you, you are dangerous and they don't know you're there. Let's say, let's put a situation here. They're all sitting above a hatch watching. There's 2 or 3 of them droning, and there's 30 seconds left on the clock. You march yourself, just crouch walking all the way up to them, and you get an ace right there. 5 kills. Boom. GG. You won. That right there is flank roaming. You're going for the flank when everything else fails. Alright, so now that you know your 3 different kinds of roaming, and you know the operator you want to do it with, now you gotta choose your gunfights wisely. Do not take a situation when there's more opponents than there is of you. If there's 2 of you roaming and there's 2 of them, cool, work as a team. But if it's only 1 of you and there's 2 of them, you should most likely go to option 2, which is just playing passively and let them throw themselves at you. Do not push them. You're just gonna die. It's not worth it. You're just gonna lose your body. You're gonna lose your roam, and then they're all just gonna 5 of them are gonna push your 4 dudes in roam without any hesitation. It's gonna be the fastest push and the fastest loss you've ever received. Just play passively when there's 2 people going against you. If it's a one-on-one, depending on your gun skill, if you know you can win the fight and he's just sitting there on his drone not looking at you, then yeah, take the fight. If you can beat him, then obviously take him. But you gotta be aware of your surroundings. You can't push a 1v2 that you're not gonna win. And if it's a 1v1, you gotta be confident that you're gonna come out of that gunfight with a kill and no deaths. You cannot die as a roamer. Roaming is not getting 3 kills and dying. I mean, cool, you got 3 kills and dying, but there's still 2.5 minutes left on the clock. Your team can still lose. If there's 30 seconds on the clock and you die and that's all 5 of them, your team has a 50-50 chance still. More than that, probably a 70-30. I mean, if you waste all of their time, you won that round for your team. I don't care what they do the rest of the round, you're the reason that your team won. As the roamer, you are one of the most important and most of the deadly people on your team. Number 2, situational awareness. You gotta be aware of everything that's going around for you. I don't care if it's you on a camera or if it's your teammates on a camera. You have to be aware of what and where and who is pushing you. You have to be aware of time, especially time. Time is the most important thing while roaming. If you lose track of time and you don't flank until the last 15 seconds, you're screwed. Your team lost, and it's most likely because of you. Roaming's not very hard, but if you lose track of time or you lose track of who's pushing you, you're dead. There's nothing you can do. I mean, you can't push at the last 15 seconds, and you can't push at 2.5 minutes. You're just gonna die. It's not gonna happen. And you can't be afraid of drones. That's your next step. You can't be afraid of drones, and you can't be afraid of Jackal. If you get spotted there and they know you're there, let them come to you. Don't go to them. Don't freak out, and don't start shaking like you're gonna die. You just gotta sit there and accept it. If you're droned out and you're in strip on Clubhouse, there's only one way you can go, and there's only one way there's 3 ways they can go. So I mean, I don't. You just gotta sit there and accept the fact that they're gonna push you from every angle. Let them. Kill them. You just gotta sit there and waste their time. They're gonna do everything they can do to kill you. So just sit there and let them come to you. Okay, but before you do any of that, you should still, at the beginning of the preparation phase, decide where you're gonna be roaming. Now that you know that you're gonna be aggressive, passive, or a flank roamer, you should now know where you're going to be roaming and how you're going to set it up. Set up rotation holes, make it easy for yourself. Blow out hatches if you need to, but below you, obviously. Don't blow up a roof hatch, you're just going to die. You're going to get yourself killed if you do that. But you want to set up any gadgets you have. If you're an Ela, set up gadgets at your goo mines at your door. Or not goo mines, Grisma mines at your door. Just set up anything that's gonna slow the attackers down, and anything that'll save your life in a sticky situations. Choke points and rotation holes are so crazy useful and will get you stick you alive longer than anything. Those two are so important, and if you kill a lot of people but they're still focused on one door and you have a rotation hole out, you'll screw them so hard. You'll come from behind them and they won't know what happened. If they don't know you have rotations out of there, and you do, and you use it, you're gonna screw with them. You're just gonna waste more of their time because now they got to go to the other side of the map and relocate you. So use that to your advantage. Alright, and now to finish out the episode, we're gonna finish talking about the rest of our operators. Alright, so back to the category now. Okay, Castle is a roamer. His gadgets are mostly used for the room, but at the same time he has impacts which can allow him to set up rotations. He's a 2-speed 2 armor, and honestly his gadgets can also be used to help him and maybe even a best roamer. The Castle and one of the best operators can honestly be a pretty good combo. So Castle is still a decent roamer. Same with Mute. Mute and Castle together is a pretty good combo because Mute's gadget works with Castle gadgets. You can put a Mute gadget on a Castle barricade and people can't blow up the castle unless it's an Ash or a Sledge, or just meleeing it, which again wastes a bunch of time, which is what you want. Sledge wastes time and ability because he has to run all the way to the other side of the map to help his teammate out with a castle. Same with Ash. So those two are decent roamers. Valkyrie is a good roamer because her gadgets, Black Eyes, which is her deployable cameras that anybody on the team can watch. She is very good at roaming actually, but is still an category because she's 2-speed 2 armor and is very slow. But her gadgets save her here. Her gun's not very good, but it's still a decent gun. It's a pea shooter. It shoots marshmallows. It does like 30 damage, if that, like probably even less, like 26. I forget exactly on my mind, but it's a low damage gun. Pretty decent fire rate though. But her gadgets are cameras, and you can watch them. Frost is honestly not even a very good roamer, but her gadgets here save her. You can put her gadgets anywhere on the map. Don't put them in room because the enemies are gonna like expect that. Don't put it behind a shield in a doorway like every silver does. I know you guys. You guys that are watching this video, those silvers, I know you guys put frost mats behind shields. Don't do it. Put it underneath of a window or a door on the opposite side of the map that you know they're gonna go through. They'll catch them off guard. They're gonna expect your frost mats to be in room. Now on the other side of the map, Bandit. Again, the reason he's here is because he's supposed to be in room. Play him like Bandit. But if you're gonna roam with him, he's a best roamer at the same time because his gun's insane. He's a 3-speed. He has barbed wire. He's a very good roamer. He has a C4 too, even if you need him. But him being in room, destroying the entire enemy team single-handedly because they can't open a wall is more important than roaming for him. But if you're gonna roam, he's a good roamer. Lesion, also a pretty good roamer, but at the same time his speed and armor being 2 and 2 destroys him here. He has good gadgets that he can either put in room or put on his roam. They're pretty similar to the Ela. They're called goo mines. They can just, you step on them and then they have to take 3 or 4 seconds to rip out a needle, but it pretty much slows them down, gets on their screen, it just disorients them a little bit. Okay, now just to the just don't. Smoke, as I already said, he's one of the best, and I mean best anchors. He can deny the rotations of the enemies. He can deny them in the last 45 seconds. He throws down his smoke canisters. He has 2 of the best guns in the game, pretty much. His shotgun's insane for opening up holes for his team. It's insane for killing enemies, even at long-ish range, about 40-50 feet. You can still 1-2 tap people. And his SMG-11, oh boy, I don't even know what to say about it. It's the best gun in the game. Honestly, his SMG-11, if you have like a left click on your mouse or a right trigger and you just hold it, they're dead. That's him. But you can roam with him though. Still, you can still roam with him if you really wanted to. His smoke gadgets are good for wasting the time of the enemies when they're pushing you at the last second. That's pretty much how you roam with him. I mean, there ain't much to say about it. His shotgun can open up holes for you if you need it. But yeah, that's smoke roaming. And then Kapkan, the reason he's on this list and you're dead, mate, is he is now a 2-speed 2 armor, which is decent for roaming. And the fact that his Kapkan traps, you have 5 of them now. 5. And you have impact grenades, so you can open up rotations for yourself now, instead of barbed wire, which he once had. Now, his gun is insane pretty much. It's not the best gun in the game, but it's very good. Talking about his SMG here, not a shotgun. You weirdos who use a shotgun, I don't understand you, but that's a different conversation. His gadgets, you have 5 of them now, and it usually takes forever to place them down, because you just don't want to place them down on sight. I mean, if you do, I mean, it works, but if you place them down on the other side of the map where they won't expect it, just like Frost, it works even better. They'll run into it 95% of the time. You'll get 3 ADDs, which is his gadget's name, around, if not 4 or 5. I promise you that. He's an okay roamer because you can do the same thing with Smoke. You can just put them around you. Same thing as Lesion, Ela, any of the roamers. You can just put them around you or put them on room. It don't matter. It'll work. And then you're dead, mate. I don't know what you're doing with your life if you're roaming with any of these people. Especially Mira. If you're roaming with Mira, I don't know what you're doing. If it's part of if you're an organized team, like in ESL or Pro League, and you're roaming with Mira, that's a completely different story. Every organized team does it, but they do it with 3 people. They roam with 3 or 4 people. Like, that's a part of their strat. That's what you do. Like, if you're playing border and your room's in customs and you're sitting in CC above the room with a Mira, that's completely different than being on the other side of the map with Mira. That's just dumb. Don't do that. But if it's a part of your strat, then do it. Echo, I don't care if it's part of your strat or not, sit in room. You're in room. You're supposed to be the last person that dies. You're literally the team saint. If you can destroy people with an Echo drone, you're Gucci. Just do it. Just sit in a room. Same with Doc and Rook. There's nothing you can do as Doc and Rook with the roaming. Neither can you with Echo. I mean, Echo a little bit, but you can drive your drone out of room. Just sit in room. Like, that's what you do with those 3. Mira, if it's a part of your strat, do it. But the other 3, sit in room. There's nothing you can do outside. You can drive your drone with Echo outside of room. You don't have to leave the room. And then for last, and almighty, the not forgetting last, the Lord Tachenka himself. I don't care what you do with him. He's the greatest. I mean, you get 5 kills every single round with him, obviously. Alright, and then for last, the newest characters to the game, Maestro and Alibi. I can't get their logo since they're brand new. Nobody has it, but at the same time, what are you gonna do? So we're just gonna talk about it. Alright, so Maestro is 3 speed, 3 armor. Or not 3 speed, 3 armor. 1 speed, 3 armor. Not a very good roamer. His gadgets are really good to be just around this vicinity of the room and or in room. They're useless if they're on the other side of the room. You're useless if you're on the other side of the map, I mean. So just don't roam with Maestro. Alibi, you can do it. You really can. But I mean, she's like Castle. It's either or really. If you want to roam with Alibi, do it. She's 3 speed, 1 armor. But I mean, really, she's just kind of, you want to sit in room with her. That's all I can say about it. But anyways, that's it. If there's any questions you guys have further past this, I'll answer them in the comments. Just put anything in the comments. Please like the video, share the video. I want the series to go big. This is my first one, so I mean, obviously it's not gonna be the greatest, but what are you gonna do? I mean, that was everything. I've been playing this game competitively since day one, more or less. I know my stuff, especially when it comes to roaming, because that's what I've been doing. Done it for multiple really good teams, so that's roaming in a nutshell. Um, Personally, if you're gonna roam, I would suggest, depending on your situation, and I highly recommend just doing the passive roam. Let them come to you. But anyways, guys, please share the video, like, subscribe, comment your ideas for the next video, and peace out.